thought it was like a happy thing.
I don't know if you can. Yeah, this month is Blood Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to head down to St. Paul's where they have an installation to raise awareness for all kinds of blood cancer. The relevance of this with us and the company is that our founder, Tass was diagnosed in March with leukemia. Blood cancer is kind of understood to be an invisible killer. A lot of people don't realize that they've got it. Tass in particular, he was quite persistent to get some treatment. He didn't know what he had, but he knew what he had wasn't good. It seems like hospitals don't really diagnose it too well, or they don't look for it initially. So the hashtag for the campaign is Make Blood Cancer Visible. The aim is to increase public awareness and the visibility of blood cancer across the UK during the month of September, to give people some insight into the experiences of those who have been diagnosed with this disease. These symbolise the 104 people diagnosed with blood cancer every day in the UK. That's one person every 14 minutes. Every name represents a real person living with one of these 137 types of blood cancer, such as leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. The names have been designed to match the person's height to give a sense of their physical presence. Each has a unique story to tell. Help us make blood cancer visible. Personally, apart from Tass, I don't really have any experience of like what it's like to live with someone who's had cancer or anything like that. Like Isaac behind the camera now, he's been through that. So yeah, maybe it's a good idea to pass the mic over to Isaac just to get his impression of all of this.
So obviously there's names actually stuck in the ground, but then there's also a lot of people just walking through here, taking pictures with their names and not actually knowing what's going on. It's a really curable disease if it's detected early. So like these days, like 1 in 3 people are actually affected by cancer. Personally for me, my dad was affected by stomach cancer, which they found out super late. Found it when it was in stage 3-4. Basically they turned around like, you might die. And that was like the scariest part. And I remember like sitting at the dinner table and then my dad turned around. He was like, oh, can you come home early from skating? Well, I was just like, oh, it's middle of summer, I don't want to come home from skating. And Mum was like, we've got some news to tell you. And I was like, oh, we might have won the lottery or something. I thought it was going to be some sick news. And I got back and then we sat down at the dinner table and it was just like, yeah, they found a tumour in my stomach. I just started college and it was just like so shit. And then that whole year, it was such a struggle for like, the whole year. And then for my dad, like he powered through. And then even for him, like, most of these people, what they're saying, they're like, they carried on and went back to work and everything. Like, so did my dad. After his first round of chemo, there's a challenge called like the Rafa 100 on his bike, and he did 3 of them while he was doing his chemo. So he's just like an absolute warrior. But like, I'm guessing there's like so many people who actually do get cancer who don't actually make it through, and there's like so many people who it actually affects badly, and there's people who like don't take it well. And relating this back to blood cancer, there's so many people who don't actually know they've got it because it's invisible, like it's so hard to detect. And with this installation today, raising awareness for it by actually like having people's names and people's like stories told. All these people, well, saying that most of them that I've read, they're all like, I don't know, 70, 80, but they're getting a bit older. There's not many younger people that seem to have developed it. And Karen, 44, who else we got? Diane. Colin, great name.
What was the chemo experience like with your dad? Did it really get him?
Yeah, like the first one wasn't too bad, like the first chemo wasn't too bad. And then, I don't know, like the second one was like pretty rubbish because it was over Christmas. That was probably like one of the worst Christmases. And then the third one, I remember he was in bed every single day, exhausted, like not being able to do anything. And then the fourth one, it literally like ruined him. He was struggling to eat because of like his cancer. He had to he had to eat because he had to get up to like 17 stone for his surgery, and he got big. He wasn't like eating healthy or anything. He was eating rubbish food all the time just so he could put on that weight. And then when he went into his surgery, they were like, yeah, you're gonna lose 4 stone in about 2-3 weeks. But I got a picture of him after the surgery, straight after it, and he's just sat on the bed like literally just a fat blob with like loads of tubes in him and just looking horrendous. I think it was like literally a month and a half later, we got another picture of him, and he is just skinny. Like, because of his surgery, they took out his stomach. But it's cool, because I got extenuating circumstances in college. Always look on the bright side. Oh, it is. So, 22 years old. I was diagnosed with ALL in April 1966 when I was just 3 years old and had 2 years of treatment. 19 years on, I've made a full recovery and living every day to the fullest. So they were diagnosed when they were 3. I'm a paediatric nurse this year, and I ran the London Marathon raising awareness about Bloodwise, the charity who research saved my life. This is like giving people hope, because every single one of these stories are survivor stories, and like there's been a lot of stories that have been like really rubbish for people, like this one before, not being able to go back to work, she can't do anything again, but it'll come back to her in a few years, like it gets better for people.
Did like a charity fundraiser for a kid in Cardiff, a young skater boy. He had that non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He managed to pull through as well. He's like really young. I guess it's like the main thing is just being positive, right? It's like all the stuff you read here, like all these plaques, and they are relying on like the support of their family. And if you didn't have your family or if you didn't have friends, like Jesus, like that seems to be the only way a lot of people are getting through this.
So it's pretty clear down here today that there's a lot of people who are just like walking past and not really actually taking anything in from it. I feel like it's more of, if you've had a personal experience with cancer, if you've had like a run-in with it yourself, or like a family member's had it, it's more of a personal thing that it's close to you. Like there's a lot of people just walking past and literally just taking pictures with their names, thinking it's just a name installation, and be like, oh look, my name's here, get a picture of me with my name. But it's actually so much more than that, and it's actually raising awareness for an invisible cancer, which not many people know about. Basically, if you want to know anything more about it, head over to makebloodcancervisible.co.uk. Go check out the website, there's loads on there, loads of interesting facts. Sorry it's been a bit of a negative one, but yeah, we'll see you next vlog. Cheers.